Welcome to Night Mode Knowledge. Tonight, I'll be sharing 200 subtle psychological red flags, quietly, slowly, so you can learn while you drift into rest. Get comfortable, let your eyes close, and let each story guide you toward a calmer mind. Gaslighting in plain sight. When someone answers a specific memory with "I don't remember that," or "you're too sensitive," they're not clarifying, they're editing. Gaslighting aims to wear down your certainty, so you abandon your own eyes and adopt theirs. Healthy disagreement sounds like, "I remember it differently, can we compare notes?" It does not require you to doubt your sanity. If you notice your reality shrinking, checking screenshots, apologizing for feelings you can name, pause the debate. Write down what happened in neutral language, anchor to timestamps, and step away from circular arguments. The goal isn't to win, it's to keep your internal compass calibrated. Compliments with a blade. "Wow, you're actually smarter than I thought. You clean up nicely for once." These are insults cosplaying as praise. The point is to get the credit for kindness while slipping in a downgrade that keeps you chasing real approval. True compliments are specific and cost the giver nothing. Your summary was clear and balanced. If your body tightens after being praised, listen to it. Try a calm mirror. "That sounded backhanded. Did you mean it that way?" People who value you will repair. People who need the blade will insist you don't understand jokes. Love that feels like surveillance. Hourly check-ins, location demand, rules that shrink your world, packaged as care. Real care asks what helps. Control dictates what comforts the controller. Ask yourself, do these safety practices leave me freer or smaller? Trust doesn't require tracking. It requires honesty, boundaries, and consequence. When trust is broken, if you're explaining benign movements like alibis, your relationship has become a courtroom. You can offer a clear standard. Updates, not monitoring. If that isn't enough, then the issue is trust, not my calendar. Apologies that don't change anything. A real apology is a promise about the future. Sorry, followed by a repeat, is strategy, not repair. Effective amends have 3 parts. Name the harm, "I interrupted you repeatedly." State the change, "I'll pause before jumping in." And follow through. If you keep hearing complex explanations for simple errors, traffic, stress, childhood, without new behavior, you're listening to excuses. You can respond kindly and concretely. "Thanks for apologizing. I'll believe it when the pattern changes." You're not punishing. You're protecting reality. "It was just a joke." After a cut, humor can soften truth. It can also smuggle hostility. When a jab lands and the retreat is relax, joke, you're being asked to abandon your boundary to preserve their bit. Jokes that need a target aren't jokes. They're status move. You don't have to litigate intent. Try one line. "Jokes are fun when we both laugh." Let's skip that one. If the joke repeats, it wasn't a misfire. It was a message. Good faith learns. Bad faith loops. Intensity that collapses overnight. The early flood, gifts, daily soulmate texts, future plans can feel like destiny. Then the temperature drops without reason. That swing trains your nervous system to chase highs instead of noticing lows. Steady attention is the boring miracle of real care. If you want to test for substance, ask for smaller measurable steps. A specific plan, a kept time, a calm week. Fantasy speaks in declarations, reality speaks in calendars. Borrowed crowds and invisible judges. Everyone thinks. My ex says. Triangulation outsources pressure to an unseen jury. You're nudged to accept a decision because others already do. Partnership, however, argues in a room with 2 chairs. Try a gentle cut. I'm open to your view. Let's decide based on us, not unnamed people. If the chorus is essential, the argument is weak. Promises without calendars. Trips. Soon. Moving in this year. We'll fix it. But nothing lands on a date. Future faking is hope as a leash. Real plans have deposits, reminders, and small precursors you can watch happen. Treat words as ideas and calendars as truth. If commitment cannot sit on a day, don't hand it your month. Goals that move when you hit them. You deliver what was asked. The standard shifts. That's how control survives your progress. Lock criteria before effort. If I do X by Friday, does that complete this? If the target morphs anyway, you've discovered the game, not failed the test. With games, you bow out. With partners, you renegotiate. Only I truly get you. Exclusivity can feel like intimacy. Sometimes it's containment. If being understood requires reducing your friendships, mentors, or routines, the bond is becoming a border. Healthy closeness expands your life. Ask yourself after you leave them, do I feel more resourced and connected, or smaller and dependent? Chronic lateness. With a story, everyone slips. Patterns tell the truth. Habitual tardiness, plus a lecture about why you're too rigid, flips the blame. Respect for time looks like buffers, alarms, and I'll be 10 minutes late. Text sent before the time, not after. You can set a neutral boundary. I'll wait 10 minutes, then I'll head out. Logistics, not scolding. Reveal priorities. Conflict, relief cycles. Blowout, honeymoon. Tension, repeat. The high after the storm hooks you on relief chemistry. The relationship becomes a machine that manufactures apologies. Real repair is boring on purpose. Fewer storms this month than last. Small skills practiced in daylight, not grand gestures at midnight. If the best part is the makeup, the worst part is the relationship. Important facts that arrive cropped. Money, status, intentions, details show up edited or late. Privacy is about dignity. Secrecy is about control. A simple test. Would sharing this earlier have changed my choice? If yes, and it was withheld, you were negotiating without information. You can ask once clearly, then decide with the answer or the silence. I can sit, that really means I won set. Incompetence appears selectively for tasks they dislike, budgeting, cleaning, planning, while competence thrives elsewhere. That I'm just bad at it. Funnels, labor to you. Replace persuasion with structure. Define the task, deadline, and consequence. Hire out and split the bill. Downgrade the plan. Postpone. Ability often returns when avoidance stops working. Rules that only go one way. Transparency demanded of you while theirs stays locked. Kindness expected from you while they keep an edge. Standards that don't apply both directions aren't values, they're rank. Ask once, does this rule work both ways? Responses tell you everything. Tests instead of trust. If you cared, you'd prove it, right now. Manufactured tests replace real intimacy with theater. Love isn't demonstrated by stunts on command. You can decline the stage. My care isn't proven by tests. If you need something, ask for it directly. Trust grows from patterns, not performances. Extended sulking instead of words. Cooling down is healthy. Stonewalling to punish is control. Prolonged silence forces you to become a mind reader and a fixer for something unnamed. Offer a door, not a chase. I'm here when you're ready to talk clearly. If conversation returns only when you fold, you're being trained, not loved. Ledger love. Every kindness becomes a debt. Favors are logged. then invoiced when you assert a need. Generosity given freely feels light on both sides. You can reset terms. If help comes with strings, I'll decline. I'm up for shared plans, not silent contracts. Partners collaborate. Collectors accumulate. Jealousy sold as passion. I just care so much arrives as rules and surveillance. Passion that needs possession isn't passion, it's fear. True care wants your life bigger, not narrower. If love reduces your radius, reevaluate the label. Know that needs an essay. Your boundary becomes a debate club topic. You're asked to justify, defend, and reframe until fatigue wins. No is a complete sentence. I'm not available for persuasion on this is a full paragraph. People who respect you might be disappointed, but they won't try to litigate your limits. Conversations that never come back. You share updates, ask questions, and reflect. They monologue. When silence falls, curiosity doesn't return to you. That imbalance isn't shyness. It's a habit that trains you to be scenery. Healthy talk feels like a swing, not a shovel. It comes back. Try the gentle pause test and watch if they notice you're quiet. If they don't, you've learned something useful about where intimacy can and can't grow. Rewriting the past. You reference a clear event. They reframe it as harmless, accidental, or your overreaction. The aim isn't truth. It's authority over the story. Two memories can coexist. Only one demands you delete yours. Keep a simple record in neutral language, not to fight, but to anchor yourself. If your history is only valid when it flatters them, you're being edited, not loved. Threats instead of reasons. Do it, or else. Deadlines and cliff edges replace actual requests. Threats create compliance, not consent, and they shorten the distance between you. You can step off the ledge. I don't make decisions under threats. If you can tell me what you want and why, I'll consider it. Watch whether the tone shifts to collaboration or doubles down on fear. Affection on a switch. Warmth flows when you comply, and chills when you assert a boundary. That's not temperament. That's conditioning. Love doesn't make you earn the basics by performing obedience. Step back and watch the pattern across weeks, not a day. If hugs and attention appear like bonuses you unlock, it's a game with a house advantage, not a relationship. Micromanaging your calm. They critique your tone, pace, and facial expression mid-discussion until the topic disappears. You end up focusing on presentation instead of the problem. Good faith asks for clarity. Control polices style. You can redirect gently. Let's address what I said, not how I looked while saying it. If content remains unwelcome, the goal was never solution. Reputation as a shield. They charm a room with ease, then use that glow to discredit your private experience. Everybody loves me. Charisma is real. So are your nerves when the door shuts. Trust the version you live with most. If bringing up harm requires you to argue against their fan club, you're negotiating with a mask. Therapy speak as a weapon. Words like boundaries, triggers, regulations show up only to control you, never to own their impact. Insight without kindness is theater. Insight without change is stalling. You cetra allowed to say, let cetras use these ideas to improve both of us, not to grade me while you stand outside the work. Endless interrogation. Questions arrive in rapid fire. Why did you say that? Why not this? Why now? Answers never land. The search itself is the point. This isn't curiosity. It's erosion by audit. Limit the loop. Answer once. Then move to scheduling or action. If the questions continue, the goal was exhaustion. Hoovering after consequences. You set distance. Silence follows. Then sweetness arrives with perfect timing. I get it now. Maybe they do. But patterns, not paragraphs, prove change. Ask for specifics you can observe over time. If the pitch is urgency rather than a plan, you're being pulled back into the same orbit. Inconsistent availability. Texts fly when they want something. Your needs meet delays. The schedule reveals the hierarchy. Reliability is the quiet love language. No fireworks. Just shows up. Chart their presence across your ups and downs. If you can predict their warmth by their needs, you've found the script. Gift tracking. Presents are remembered like investments and cited later to steer your choices. Gifts that become invoices weren't gifts. They were down payments on control. Say thank you and hold your autonomy. If gratitude is treated like debt service, close the account. Competitive suffering. You share a hard moment, they raise you one. Pain becomes a contest, and empathy goes broke. Shared humanity isn't a scoreboard. You can say, I'll listen to yours. Can you hear mine first? If there's only room for one person's weather, you'll always be indoors. Boundary testing by inches. A small push becomes a larger one. 5 minutes late grows to 20. A teasing nudge grows into a cutting joke. Early pushes are pilots. Naming the inch, calmly and immediately, prevents the mile. Boundaries don't have to be dramatic to be real. They just have to be consistent. Conditional listening. Agreement is welcomed. Disagreement makes your words vaporize. You learn to self-edit, to stay connected. Connection that only survives sameness is fragile. Try a low-stakes disagreement and watch whether they get curious or punitive. Curiosity is a green flag. Punishment isn't. Siloing the conversation. You're allowed to talk about the incident, but never the pattern. Why bring up the past? Because the past is where the pattern lives. Name the theme gently. This keeps recurring. Can we address how, not just what? If themes are forbidden, so is progress. Selective outrage. They go quiet on big issues, but explode at small ones. The mismatch isn't temperament, it's training. You start tiptoeing around plates while walking through fires. Healthy anger scales with the moment and aims to fix, not to control. Note the ratios. They tell the truth. Weaponized ambiguity. We'll see covers everything, from timelines to rules, until you break expectations that were never set. Vagueness protects the person who benefits from the blur. Ask for specifics. Once. Get them in writing. If stakes are high. If clarity irritates them. Fog was part of the plan. Public ultimatums. High-pressure demands arrive in front of friends or family, so refusal costs you face. Big choices deserve privacy. You can step out. Happy to discuss this when we're alone. Anyone who insists on an audience isn't seeking agreement. They're seeking submission. Non-apology apologies. I'm sorry you felt that way. Feelings didn't cause the harm. Actions did. A real apology names the behavior, acknowledges the impact, and outlines change. If they can't cross that basic bridge, the remorse is performative, and the pattern will continue. Blaming the messenger. You bring up a specific issue. The conversation pivots to your tone, timing, or history. Delivery matters, but content matters more. When delivery is always the villain, nothing gets repaired. Keep returning to the point with one sentence. If that sentence can't be heard, the message isn't welcome. Public image, private edge. Some people glow in public, warm with waiters, magnetic at parties, then turn sharp when the door shuts. That contrast isn't mood, it's curation. Public charm is real, but it can also be armor that buys doubt when you speak up. Everyone loves me. Maybe it's you. Trust the version you experience most hours of the week. Practical check. Bring a small specific concern in private and watch the response. Do they get curious and repair or dismiss and deflect? If your reality always loses to their reputation, you're negotiating with a mask instead of a person. Weaponized, calm. You're upset. They go clinical. Cool tone, slow blink, a therapist cadence with none of the care. Then they grade you. See, you're overreacting. Calm can soothe. It can also control by making emotion look like error. Ask for content, not tone. Address what I said, not how I felt. If they won't engage substance, the calm is a shield. Your steadiness is for you, not a performance rubric. You must pass to be heard. You can pause the talk until both of you can discuss the issue, not each other's temperature. Deadlines on forgiveness. We already talked about it. Be over it by Friday. Timelines help with chores, not healing. Pressure to move on quickly protects the offender, not the connection. Real amends make space for feelings and show change while those feelings ebb. Try. I'm willing to work through this, but my pace isn't negotiable. Keep showing the new behavior and give me time. If patience disappears once consequences fade, then the apology was a key, just for the door out of trouble, not the start of repair. Self-help words, no self-help work. They can say boundary, accountability, and trigger, but the vocabulary never lands on their own choices. Insight that doesn't soften behavior is theater. You can invite alignment. Which part of this is your work? If the answer is more labels for you, you've become the client in their pretend clinic. Keep the tools, ditch the performance. Growth looks like schedules, budgets, new scripts, and fewer repeats, not just eloquent explanations for the same scene. Comedy that maps your pain. Running jokes develop around your insecurities, money, body, family, and everyone laughs because the room learned that's your thing. Humor can bond. It can also gather data for leverage. A simple mirror helps that one lands on a sore spot. Let's retire it. Watch the reaction. People who care adjust. People who need the bit double down and call you sensitive. If the set list is your wounds, the show is a survey. Reduce the data you supply until safety returns. Broken confidentiality. By accident, you share something delicate. Later it walks around the group with a shrug. Oops, it slipped. One slip can be clumsy. Two is a system. Trust needs a place to rest. It can't nap on a bench that tips. Offer the boundary once. Private means private. If leaks continue, treat them as policy and share accordingly. Love doesn't turn your secrets into social currency, even for your own good. Crowd testing your boundaries. They push limits in front of others. Too long hug, invasive question, a playful dig. So refusal costs you face. That's pressure, not intimacy. You're allowed to stop the scene, not for me, and change the subject. Or leave. Boundaries, pronounced publicly, protect people who were pushed publicly. If they later claim you embarrassed them, remember who set the stage. Consent doesn't shrink in a crowd. Ultimatums with a countdown. Agree in 5 minutes, or we're done. Constant brinkmanship forces compliance and trains you to prioritize fear over clarity. Step off the clock. I don't decide under threats. If you have a request, make it without a timer. Then hold. If the only tool is ultimatum, there was never a conversation, just a shove. Healthy urgency exists. Fire bleeding. Most relationship problems aren't on fire. They're solvable with breath and time. Conditional intimacy. Affection switches on when you perform and off when you rest. That's not temperament. That's training. Love should not feel like unlocking bonuses. Try a quiet test. Keep your boundary in place and watch whether warmth remains. If closeness arrives only as a reward, you're living inside a system where attachment is currency. Currency is for transactions, not for people. Name it once. Act on what follows. Grand gestures. Tiny change. After harm, the gifts get bigger. Flowers, weekends away, sweeping vows, while daily behavior stays the same. Big swings can be sincere and still dodge the work. Repair is measured in boring repetitions, new habits, quieter tone, shared calendars, missed triggers. If the theater is dazzling, but the floor stays crooked, you're walking on a set. Choose carpentry over cinema. Less wow, more level. Debt turned into a leash. They lend money, cover rent, or save you from a problem, then tug when you assert autonomy. After all I've done, generosity that buys obedience wasn't generosity, it was down payment on control. Repay what you can, document the rest, and detach the favor from your freedom. The healthiest help expects 0 votes in your decisions. Look what you made me do. Your existence becomes the reason for their choices. I snapped, because you, adults, own behavior, even when triggered. Context explains. It doesn't absolve. Try I'll talk when you can describe your action without my name. If accountability can't survive without your blame, you'll always be drafted as the cause, and later as the cure. Pop psych as a sword. Mid-argument, out come the diagnoses. You're avoidant. You're a narcissist. Labels. End inquiry. And seize high ground. Ask for specifics. Describe the moment. Not my type. Real help. Speaks in examples and asks for repair on both sides. If every conversation turns clinical only when they're cornered, the white coat is just a costume. Questions that Don set want answers. Why would you do that? Comes 5 times in a row. Each answer is met with a new why, not understanding. That's not curiosity, it's erosion by audit. Try a firm close. I've answered. We can plan next steps or pause. If questions keep circling, the goal was fatigue, not clarity. You don't owe endless explanation to be valid. Trauma. Dumping on day 1. Within hours, you're hearing deepest wounds with an expectation that you hold and heal. Vulnerability can be bonding. It can also be a shortcut to dependency. Healthy sharing is paced and reciprocal. You can offer care without adopting the case. Thanks for trusting me. Let's go slow and make sure this is sustainable for both of us. Isolating you by undermining your people. Friends are jealous. Your sister is toxic. Your mentor doesn't get us. If every sturdy bridge is suspect, someone's trying to strand you. Ask for data, not vibes. Notice whether concerns are specific and actionable or vague and global. Love expands your web. Control snips strands, then sells it as intimacy. One-upping your wins. You share good news, they minimize, redirect, or top it. Celebration reveals character. Stable partners amplify your light because it doesn't dim theirs. If every joy becomes a comparison, stop presenting trophies to the wrong judge. Bring your wins where clapping doesn't compete. Policing your nervous system. Lower your voice. Fix your face. Style gets policed until substance disappears. Regulation is healthy. Regulation as compliance is erasure. Offer a swap. I'll slow down if you'll address the point. If the point keeps vanishing, the goal was your quiet, not our solution. Advice that means obedience. They offer tips that are really demands. Disagreement becomes disrespect. Advice is optional, by definition. Otherwise, it's a rule. Try, thanks, I'll consider it. Then watch for resentment. Partnership respects your agency even when you choose differently. Shaming or exhaustion. Normal tiredness is relabeled laziness to keep you producing. Bodies need rest. Relationships do too. People who love you prefer you alive to useful. If every pause costs you status, you're in a factory, not a family. Protect your sleep like rent. Pay it before luxuries. Negotiating your identity. Bit by bit, they try to edit who you are. Your clothes, playlists, food, even the way you laugh, framed as suggestions that never stop. One tweak is taste. A steady stream of tweaks is a quiet takeover. Notice whether suggestions aim at comfort. Bring a jacket, it's cold, or compliance. Don't wear that. It makes me look bad. When identity talks become constant, set a gentle boundary with a measurable edge. I love your input on logistics, routes, times, budgets. My style and hobbies are mine. Then protect small daily rituals that keep you you. The hat you like, the walk you take, the friend you text. People who want proximity with the real you will lean in. People who wanted a version they curated will call your selfhood difficult. Believe the feedback loop more than the flattery. Micro-shaming your appearance. It rarely sounds like you're ugly. It sounds like, are you really wearing that color? Your hair was better before. That shirt's brave. The words are soft, the effect hard. Your mirror becomes a negotiation table, and they sit at the head. Style is communication, and they keep redlining your sentences until you're speaking in their voice. Counter softly but firmly. I'm dressing for me. If you have a need, like formality for your work event, say that. Otherwise, let it be. Watch for the pattern shift. Respectful partners distinguish between a situational request and a global critique. If the critiques continue, reduce the channel. Fewer outfit consults, more private decisions. The goal isn't rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's recovering the simple joy of leaving the house as yourself. Hijacking milestones to reset the story. Before exams, birthdays, launches, they spark conflict or deliver a love-bombing surprise that rewrites the week. Now the celebration is about how you made it through together, not about your achievement. This stealth reset steals your headline and replaces it with theirs. Protect big days on the calendar. Like you protect deadlines, plan buffers, assign tasks, name non-negotiables. No big talks 48 hours before the event. If drama appears anyway, refuse the rewrite. Keep your original frame. Today's about the show. We'll discuss us on Tuesday at 6. Then actually do Tuesday at 6. If every milestone becomes a relationship referendum, you're being trained to fear good things. Your joy deserves an unedited stage. Privacy ultimatums posed as trust. Give me all your passwords, or you're hiding something. Total access gets framed as intimacy, but it functions as surveillance, especially when it's one way. Real trust isn't the absence of locked doors. It's the presence of reliable behavior. Offer principled middle ground. Device passcodes for emergencies sealed in a literal envelope. Location sharing during travel. Financial transparency for shared bills, paired with a commitment to talk, not snoop. If curiosity repeatedly outruns consent, name it. Access without agreement is a breach. People who want closeness will accept boundaries that keep everyone human. People who want control will call boundaries suspicious. That's your data. Intellectual high grounding. They debate to win, not to understand. Dropping authors you haven't read. Changing topics mid-proof. Scoring points with definitions instead of dealing with feelings. You leave smarter about them, but lonelier with yourself. Move the conversation from podium to table. I'm not in a debate. I'm telling you how your action landed. We can solve that or pause. If the rhetoric persists, stop supplying citations and start supplying boundaries, what you will do next, not what they should think. Wisdom can include books, but repair shows up as changed behavior, not footnotes. Don't outsource your reality to someone else's library. Triangulating with experts. Therapists say, the research proves. My coach insists, all used as a stick, never as a mirror. Expertise should widen empathy and sharpen mutual skill, not crown one person the umpire. Welcome real sources when they're used to help both of you grow. Let's try this script we learned, and reject appeal to authority when it's a silent verdict. Therefore you're wrong. Try bring the article. Let's read together and test what fits both our values. If the citation disappears when collaboration appears, you weren't in a learning moment, you were in a power play with a bibliography. Manufacturing crisis to dodge questions. Right as you ask for clarity. Where did the money go? Why did you cancel? The world combusts, car trouble. Sudden illness. Friend emergency. Real life happens. Patterns tell. If urgency always arrives on cross-examination, you're watching misdirection. Don't chase the new fire. Park the old question. I can help with the immediate issue. Afterward, we'll return to the budget at 7 p.m. Then do. If the crisis evaporates when the topic returns, you've learned more than you would have from any answer. Calm persistence is kryptonite to chaos tactics. Apology tourism. Instead of repairing with you, they collect sympathy elsewhere, posting vague remorse, confessing to friends, narrating their growth arc, while the hurt between you remains untouched. The performance earns applause. You get the rerun. Redirect the energy. Appreciate the regrets you've shared publicly. The repair I need is private, practical, and on a schedule. Suggest one concrete change with a date. If the tour continues without a home stop, the audience, not the relationship, is the point. Don't be the museum hosting their redemption exhibit for free. Euphemisms that shrink harm. Miscommunication stands in for lying. Bad night covers screaming. Flirt disguises cheating. Language matters because it decides what needs to change. If the word is small, the fix will be small. Offer accurate names without venom. You lied about where you were, you broke your promise. You insulted me. Precision isn't cruelty. It's the foundation of repair. If they insist on baby words for adult harms, they're telling you how much change they're willing to attempt. Not much. Choose your dictionary and your distance accordingly. Owning the schedule to own you. They plan everything when you leave, who you see, how long you stay. It looks helpful, feels suffocating, and functions like a net. Autonomy is measured in unapproved minutes. Start by reclaiming micro-choices. I'm handling my calendar this week. I'll loop you for shared plans. Expect pushback disguised as concern. You'll double book. And let natural consequences teach. Competence grows when control loosens. A partner who wants your freedom will cheer the learning curve. A controller will create accidents to prove you need a handler. Keep steering. Both sides scene you into silence. Every harm becomes we both made mistakes. Even when the moment was lopsided. Shared humanity is true. Equal blame isn't equalizing prematurely. Erases the person who needs repair now. Use sequence and scope. Today I'm addressing your action. After that I'm open to feedback on mine. If they can't hold focus for one round of accountability, you're negotiating with a mirror that only reflects the other person's favorite angle. Risky tests of love. They propose stunts. Ignore your boundary. Skip your shift. Break a rule. To prove devotion. The reward is closeness. The cost is your life getting smaller. Healthy love doesn't burn your future for today's reassurance. Try a reframing test. Prove love by sitting with discomfort, not by making me gamble my stability. A partner worth keeping will accept a challenge that requires their restraint. A manipulator will insist love must be demonstrated with your sacrifice. That's not a test. It's a trap. Infantilizing your choices. Be a good boy, girl. Did you ask permission? That's too hard for you. It sounds cute. Until you notice you're requesting allowances in a relationship of equals. Infantilization steals agency, while keeping responsibility on you when things go wrong. Translate the scene back to adulthood. I make my decisions. I'll hear advice. I won't take orders. Then behave like a grown person with your own keys, because you are one. People who need you small will call your maturity defiance. Keep going. Perpetual maybe. They won't say yes or no, just we'll see. Indecision preserves options for them and anxiety for you. Life thrives on clarity. Love does too. Put the decision on a shelf with a timestamp. Let's decide by Friday at noon. If we don't, my default is no. Defaults are adult seatbelts. Not romantic. Very life-saving. If maybe stretches into a lifestyle, the truth is already a no wearing soft shoes. Delegating decisions. Keeping the blame. Up to you sounds freeing, until any outcome becomes your fault. This is control by abdication. Flip it. If it's truly my call, we're both co-owners of the result. If you want a vote, take it now. People who wanted deniability will resist. People who wanted collaboration will step in. Refuse to be the lightning rod for choices someone else directed from the shadows. Gifting access. Demanding monitoring. They gift your shared devices, family plans, business tools. Then use them to watch your moves. Kindness that creates surveillance isn't kindness. It's infrastructure. Keep gifts separate from governance. Different passwords, clear permission boundaries, written rules for shared accounts. If the gift becomes a leash, return the object or the access. Keep your autonomy. Partners build tools that help both people breathe. Controllers build dashboards. Rituals of proof that escalate. You pass every, are you loyal? Trial, but the trials keep growing. From texting instantly, to sharing pins to sacrificing opportunities. Proof culture never ends, because it isn't about evidence, it's about power. Shift from proving to being. I act with integrity. If that isn't enough, proof won't help. Then stop auditioning. Love that can't tolerate normal uncertainty. Turn certainty into a weapon. Don't hand it back loaded. Other people sips advice as a cage. They quote friends or influencers. Real couples do ____. A good partner would ____. Advice becomes legislation when it's used to override your values. Welcome wisdom. Reject coercion. Try, if your friend's idea helps us, let's make it our agreement with our words. If not, it's just their preference. If they can't own the rule without borrowing someone else's voice, it's not a rule. It's pressure disguised as guidance. Competitive vulnerability. You share a hard thing. They share something harder, steering attention back to them. Vulnerability should open space, not occupy it. Set a turn-taking norm. I need 10 minutes for mine, then I'll hold yours. If they can't wait, it isn't intimacy. It's spotlighting. In relationships that last, pain is witnessed in shifts. Let the light move. Relationship as project plan. You've got checklists, postmortems, KPIs, but no warmth. Logistics are flawless while tenderness is outsourced. Partnership isn't a startup. You aren't a sprint. Add deliberate softness. Rituals with no goal. Walks without phones. Silly rounds of highs, lows. A weekly what would make next week kinder. If softness can't exist without getting graded, The problem isn't your process. It's the absence of love's unproductive, wildly necessary waste of time together. Confession bombs at midnight. You're half asleep when a heavy truth drops. A debt, a betrayal, a decision made without you, followed by, please don't be mad right now. The timing is the tactic. Midnight confessions blunt your thinking, collapse discussion into comfort, and buy them a quiet night. Treat timing as part of content. I hear you. We'll talk tomorrow at 10 when I'm rested. Then keep that appointment. Real accountability tolerates daylight and questions. It doesn't need exhaustion to pass. If urgency is claimed, measure it. Does anything change if we wait 8 hours? Most relationship problems are not ER visits. If the pattern repeats, big reveals when you're least resourced, you're in a control loop that relies on your fatigue. Protect your clarity by protecting the clock. Emotional weather as a steering wheel. Plans, boundaries, even simple requests keep getting deferred because today's just not a good day. You're asked to steer around their feelings like a thunderstorm that never blows over. Compassion is wise. Climate is different from weather. If every forecast is severe, the goal may be schedule control, not self-care. Offer gentle accommodations with a boundary. I'm open to moving this once. If we reschedule again, I'll proceed without you or pick a new date next week. Emotions deserve respect and also require skills, naming, pacing, regulation, repair. When feelings set all the rules, other people stop existing. Love invites tenderness and structure, because without structure, tenderness becomes a leash. Prudence that purchases control. Budget talk starts sensible. Save more. Plan ahead, then becomes gatekeeping. No purchases without approval. Joking. Audits of your spending. Private accounts you're not allowed to ask about. Frugality can be virtue. Secrecy, plus veto power, is financial control. Put money where clarity is shared costs in a joint account with agreed contributions and visibility. Personal money kept personal. Big buys approved by both. If prudence only restricts you while they make solo choices, you're in a hierarchy, not a partnership. Financial transparency isn't romantic, but it's freedom in numbers. Ask for the spreadsheet. If numbers can't be seen, the story can't be trusted. Quiet character assassination. No direct insults, just a constant mist of doubt sprayed in other people's ears. She's overwhelmed lately. He's not great with details. The tone sounds concerned. The impact is corrosion. You discover rooms where your reputation arrived before you did. Healthy partners raise issues with you first and protect your dignity in public, even when you're struggling. Combat softly. Document agreements, keep receipts, and don't chase every whisper. Name the pattern once. If someone has feedback about me, please send them to me. If that keeps happening, I'll create distance. Reputations are built slowly. So is counterproof. Choose steady truth over rumor wrestling. Preemptive jealousy allegations. Before conflicts happen, you're accused of flirting or disloyalty, then monitored for both our peace of mind. This flips burden of proof and justifies surveillance. Ask for specifics. What happened? Where? When? Vague vibes aren't data. Offer your standard, respectful behavior in public. Open calendar for shared plans. No access to your inner monologue. If jealousy demands obedience rather than communication, it's not about safety, it's about shrinking your world. People who want trust practice it, they don't police it into existence. Endurance praise instead of repair. You're celebrated for being so strong, so patient. Ride or die, especially after they cross a line. Compliments anesthetize accountability. Strength is lovely. Being required to be strong forever is a sentence. Translate the applause into an ask. Thank you. My strength bought us time. Now I need change. Here are the 3 behaviors that would make this easier on both of us. If admiration increases whenever repair decreases, you're being rewarded for tolerating harm. Don't mistake a medal for medicine. Helplessness on demand. They're fully capable at work or with hobbies, yet become baffled by laundry, budgets, childcare, apologies, conveniently the tasks they dislike. You teach, they forget, you redo. This isn't incompetence. It's avoidance that recruits your labor. Stop tutoring the unwilling. Agree on a standard deadline and consequence. If it isn't done, we hire it out and split the cost. Or we'll do alternate weeks with photos of the finished list. Ability often returns when the benefit of pretending vanishes. Love helps, it does not parent. Breadcrumb plans that never land. Let's do a trip. We should fix that. Date night soon, a confetti of intentions with 0 calendars. Guilt becomes the leash that keeps you near. Treat intent as a maybe and logistics as truth. Reply with a friendly fork. Great, pick a date by Friday. Or I'll book something solo, not punitive, just protective. If plans disappear the moment a day is required, you've learned what you needed. You are being managed by promises, not anchored by commitments. Take it or leave it, love. I'm just like this. If you don't like it, leave. Boundaries are okay. Ultimatums as a lifestyle are control, dressed as authenticity. This is me should end unsafe demands, not begin them. Try reframing. That may be your pattern. This is my boundary. If they can't coexist, we're not a fit. Compatibility isn't coercion. When someone argues they are non-negotiable, believe them, and negotiate with your feet. Secrets, traded for compliance. They share something explosive. Past betrayal, illegal info, vulnerable confessions, and the subtext becomes, now you owe me. Don't tell, don't leave, don't push. Vulnerability should create intimacy, not obligation. Separate compassion from captivity. Thank you for trusting me. Your secret doesn't buy my silence about current harm. If disclosure appears mostly when they need leverage, hold your own disclosures until trust is rebuilt. Intimacy without freedom is containment. Time costs that only you pay. They cancel late, add quick errands to your day, stretch 5-minute favors into hours. You apologize for asking to end on time. Time theft is invisible because you can't hold it, but you feel it in resentments and missed sleep. Price your minutes. Set start, stop times, use timers. Default to let me check my day. People who respect you won't spend you without asking. People who benefit from your exhaustion will call you rigid. You're not rigid, you're finite. That's just how I am. A personality claim becomes a hall pass. I'm blunt. I'm spontaneous. I have a temper. Traits explain. They don't exempt. The adult move is self-management. I'm blunt, so I check for consent before feedback. Invite the upgrade. Keep your style at a skill. If skill never arrives, style is just a costume for harm. Beautiful quirks can stay. Sharpened edges must be sanded or sheathed. Public intimacy. Private exposure. They post your private moments or arguments as real talk, tag you in things you didn't consent to, or make content out of your pain. Visibility becomes a tool to steer narratives and gather allies. Clarify the publishing rules. What's shareable? What's sacred? Who decides? Repeat offenders tell you they value audience over intimacy. You're allowed to step out of the show, even if the comments are kind. Boundary boomerang. You name a limit. No late-night fights. No surprise guests. And later it's wielded against you. Remember your boundary about late nights? I'm invoking something similar, so I won't discuss rent. Using your language to dodge their responsibility isn't reciprocity. It's mimicry. Ask for the principle beneath the boundary. Safety, rest, fairness. If the boomerang doesn't match the principle, it's not symmetry. It's sabotage. Keep your boundary. Reject their counterfeit. Sarcasm as a first language. Every line tilts ironic. Sincere questions get jokes. Tender moments get a punchline. Wit is delightful. Constant irony is armor. You end up decoding instead of connecting. Invite a pocket of sincerity. For 5 minutes, no joke. Tell me what you actually think. If sincerity can't be located, intimacy can't grow. Love requires moments where words mean what they say. Resentment banking. Kindnesses are deposited quietly and withdrawn loudly later. Remember when I did X? As payment for unrelated compliance. Help without consent isn't a favor. It's a future invoice. Convert offers into agreements. I appreciate it, and I'm not asking for that right now. If they proceed anyway, you owe nothing. Real generosity is a gift, not a layaway plan on your autonomy. Holiday isolation protocols. Right before gatherings, new conflicts emerge. Travel becomes too stressful. Your people are framed as bad for your energy. One season slips, then another. Tradition deserts you. Dependence replaces it. Protect the calendar early. Book tickets. Communicate your plan. Offer alternatives. We'll do our dinner Saturday. Sunday is my family. People who love you adapt around your roots. People who want you isolated call roots. Drama. If every holiday gets simplified, check who ends up alone with you. Good news on layaway. So, you hesitate to share wins because celebration gets taxed, minimized, mocked, or turned into their pressure. So what's next? Over time, joy hides to survive. Ask plainly, I need 10 minutes of celebration, no critique. If they can't give that, they're not safe for your sunshine. Build a small cheering section elsewhere, and watch whether jealousy arrives. Love learns to clap, even off-beat at first. Demanding a running monologue. Tell me everything you're thinking. Sounds intimate, but becomes surveillance. With your thoughts graded in real time. You owe honesty, not a 24/7's live feed. Replace mind reading with check-ins that respect privacy. Here's my plan for today. I'll text at 6. If transparency is never enough, the goal isn't closeness, it's command. Mystery is not betrayal. It's a basic nutrient of selfhood. Anti-closure. Keeping problems set. Interesting set. Each time a solution nears, they pivot to a new angle, so the issue stays alive. Philosophy. Hypotheticals. What ifs. The argument becomes a hobby. Closure is boring. But boredom is where trust regrows. Set an end state. We'll pick one solution today and review it in 2 weeks. If they won't land without them. Implement your piece and measure outcomes. People who profit from chaos fear conclusions. You're allowed to end a chapter. Ghosting after closeness. Connection peaks. Deep talk. Shared plans. Intimacy. Then silence hits like a power outage. Hours become days. Explanations arrive thin. And you're trained to accept vanishing as normal. This isn't needing space. It's controlling the narrative by depriving you of information. Healthy space is announced and bounded. I'm off grid until Sunday. Text if urgent. Ghosting after closeness teaches you to under-ask, over-apologize and accept crumbs when they return. Counter by naming your standard calmly. If we're close, I need continuity or clear heads up about breaks. Then protect your nervous system. Stop chasing Start scheduling life that doesn't freeze for their silence. People who care about you won't make your stability the price of their autonomy. If disappearance is a feature, not a rare bug, reclassify the relationship to match reality. Fast idealize, devalue swings. Yesterday, you were rare, brilliant, the one. Today, you're difficult, selfish, too much. The content of their opinion changes. The intensity doesn't. That whiplash isn't honest feedback. It's unstable attachment, regulating itself by moving you between pedestal and pit. Real intimacy tolerates mixed data. I love you, and we need to fix how we plan. Test for steadiness. Offer a small repair request, and watch whether you're punished by withdrawal or shamed with superlatives turned to slurs. You don't have to accept a role in someone else's drama triangle. Step out by declining both extremes. No feasting on praise, no starving on contempt, and require the middle: specific behaviors, specific changes, specific warmth that survives disagreement. Perfectionism, sold as care. I just want the best for us. Becomes critiques about everything. Your text punctuation, how you rinse dishes, your tone in front of friends. Perfectionism seduces because it sounds like effort. But if standards never stabilize, you live in a courtroom where you're always on trial. True care picks a few priorities and collaborates on them. Ask for scope. What are the 3 things that actually matter? Let's drop the rest. Then watch compliance. If every detail is mission critical, the mission is control, not quality. You get to choose good enough as a love language, because good enough is what makes room for joy, rest, and the messy magic that perfection strangulates. Recruiting your ex or family. They consult your ex for closure, message your parent to understand you better, or build alliances with your circle that bypass you. It feels mature. It functions like triangulation and reputation management. Healthy partners use your community to support you, not to influence you. Set a container. If you need insight, ask me. If you contact my people, I expect you to tell me before you do and share the reason. People who mean well will welcome structure. People who want leverage will prefer back channels. Remember, your relationships are not public utilities. Access to them is not a right awarded to whoever claims the purest motive. Pathologizing basic needs. Hungry becomes hangry. Sleep becomes lazy. Quiet time becomes avoidant. The language might be playful, but the effect is a tax on your biology. Needs aren't preferences. Bodies keep the books. If your needs are framed as character defects, you'll overdraw until resentment collects interest, reground in the obvious. I'm eating because I'm hungry. We'll talk after. Then offer wins, shared snacks, planned quiet hours, early bedtime before big days. If even practical solutions meet ridicule, you're not negotiating needs. You're negotiating whether you're allowed to be human. Choose humanity every time. Break up jokes that are nifter jokes. Keep it up, and I'll trade you in. Guess I'm single tonight, delivered with a smile. Humor can flirt with taboo. It can also test how breakup threats land. The nervous laugh they chase. Is your nervous system trying to warn you? Answer the content, not the tone. I don't joke about ending us. If you need something, say it without threats. Then watch behavior. If the jokes escalate when you set that line, they weren't jokes. They were a training program designed to make abandonment casual. Apology quotas. I apologized last time. It's your turn. Accountability is not a rota. You can each be responsible on different days and in different magnitudes. A quota turns repair into a scoreboard and makes truth secondary to balance. Reset the frame. Ownership isn't a trade, it's a choice. Today, your action needs repair. When I miss, I'll own mine, without bargaining. If every apology must be paired with yours to count, you're negotiating with a bookkeeper, not a partner. Close the ledger, and keep your integrity. Editing your art and voice. They suggest changes to songs, captions, outfits, even the topics you're allowed to care about until your creative life looks like theirs. Feedback can be love. Consistent censorship is control. Ask for criteria. Is this about safety, doxing, employer rules, about taste, or about power? Then segment safety. Edits get consideration. Taste gets thanked and ignored. Power doesn't get a vote. The world needs the weird specific you. If your work softens into sameness, you traded applause for approval. Find the rooms that echo with your original tone. Tradition as a cage. Roles are assigned with holy words, how you should dress, speak, serve, spend. Tradition can anchor meaning. It can also launder control through nostalgia. Ask the key question: who benefits? Who pays? Healthy tradition flexes to include the living people it claims to honor. If a value routinely costs your dignity, time, or freedom without consent, it isn't heritage, it's hierarchy. You can respect elders, rituals, and stories while refusing rules that erase you. Sacred things don't need prisoners. Gifts that lock you in, not just flowers. Big sticky gifts. A pet you can't abandon, a lease in both names. A car in their name that you drive. Generosity becomes an anchor you're shamed to lift. Before accepting high commitment gifts, ask for the exit terms in writing. Who owns what? Who pays if you part? What happens to the dog? If clarity kills the mood, that's the mood telling the truth. Gifts meant to bind are contracts dressed in ribbon. Choose what you can return without losing yourself. Dangling big milestones. When we move, when we marry, when we have kids, spoken like soon, lived like never. You invest years in a future that never lands. The antidote to limbo is calendarized clarity. I'm not pressuring you. I need to know by March whether we're moving toward X. If not, I'll adjust my path. This isn't an ultimatum. It's stewardship of your one life. If dates trigger defensiveness, remember, someone else's discomfort is cheaper than your decade. You're not asking for certainty, just for honesty in a time frame that respects your horizon. Privacy tests and traps. They create bait, fake accounts, staged scenarios to prove you're trustworthy. Passing doesn't end the testing, it escalates. Trust can't be manufactured by surveillance. It's earned by patterns and broken by choices. Refuse the lab. I won't participate in traps. If you're unsure about us, let's build actual trust, shared plans, consistent behavior, transparent money. If they need the thrill of catching you clean, the relationship has already become a game. You win by not playing. Splitting the room with half-truths. They tell true fragments out of order. So your friends fill in the villain with your face. We've been arguing about money, leaves out the missing rent. They yelled, omits the recorded provocation. Half-truths are lies that pass polygraphs. You can't police every narrative, but you can cultivate two defenses: receipts, dates, agreements, payments, and long-haul character. Tell your story once to the people who matter. Then let time accumulate evidence. Gossip loves the sprint. Truth wins marathons. Allowance economics. You get spending money while they control accounts, change passwords, manage your access. It's pitched as help. It functions like captivity. Financial independence is relational independence. Your own bank, your own card. Transparency for shared bills, written budgets with both signatures. If safety is cited to justify control, Ask for audited visibility both ways. Money should be a spreadsheet with 2 chairs, not a throne with one. Bargaining with your body. Pressure around contraception, pregnancy, medical choices, or sex frequency is reframed as compromise. But the cost is your bodily autonomy. There is no fair trade where someone else spends your health. Care asks. Control insists. Use unambiguous language. My body is not up for negotiation. We can discuss partnership choices, finances, timing, parenting, but not my consent. If pushback continues, involve professionals who put bodily rights first and build distance. Love that requires you to abandon sovereignty isn't love, it's custody. Therapy is public relations. They announce they're in therapy, sprinkle phrases at dinner, and post breakthroughs, while your private reality doesn't budge. Therapy can be transformative. It can also be optic. Ask for the fruit, not the press release. What homework are you doing? What behavior should I expect to shift? If the only visible change is better apologies, not different Tuesdays, the sessions are a stage. It's okay to be happy they're going, and still require evidence at home. Secrecy as the price of repair. They'll apologize. If you promise not to tell anyone, this flips accountability into a gag order. Privacy matters. Silence that protects harm does not accept confidentiality for your details, not for their pattern. I won't broadcast what you shared. I will talk to my support people about how I'm doing. If an apology can't survive witnesses, it wasn't ready for daylight. Your healing needs community. Real repair doesn't require you to heal alone. Benching your roster mentality. Warm when you're convenient. Cool when other options ping. Plans stay tentative. Labels stay foggy. Effort maps to competition, not care. You feel chosen only when others cancel. You're not a backup singer in a rotating tour. You're a person. Clarify terms. I'm dating for commitment. If that isn't your path, no hard feelings. I'm stepping out. People who wanted you for the bench will argue. People who could have been partners will choose or release you cleanly. Either way, you get your time back. Turning kids into messengers. Requests, complaints, even digs about you get delivered through a child. Tell your mom. Children aren't couriers or shields for adult anxiety. This isn't just a red flag. It's a burden placed on a smaller nervous system. Draw a hard line. Adult topics are for adults. Use email or a co-parenting app. If co-parents refuse, establish parallel parenting boundaries and document violations. Protecting a child's emotional load is non-negotiable. Love grows when the smallest person's brain is kept safe. Weaponized optimism. Everything will work out becomes the answer to every plan. Budget. Boundary. Positivity is powerful. Used to dodge reality. It's just glitter overwrought. Ask optimism to do real work. Great. What steps make it works out? True. If positivity resists specifics, it isn't hope. It's anesthesia. You deserve partners who can dream in calendar, who can hold faith in the future, while respecting the math of today. Smear campaigns about every ex. They tell you every ex was crazy, gold-digging, abusive, never nuanced, never their part. At first you feel chosen. Later you realize you've been handed a script for how you'll be described if you leave. Balanced people can hold a mixed story. We were incompatible. I mishandled money. She struggled with anxiety. The all-bad ex chorus is reputation groundwork, not honesty. Ask calm specifics and listen for empathy. If there's none, protect your own exit footprint now. Be kind, concise, documented. Smearers recruit by telling you who to distrust before you meet them. Partners trust you to form your own opinions. Believe patterns. People who burn every bridge behind them rarely build one under you. Sleep deprivation talks. Hard conversations have to happen after midnight. When you're foggy, compliant, less able to hold boundaries. Fatigue lowers cognition and raises suggestibility. It's not romance. It's leverage. Declare a daylight standard. I don't do big decisions tired. Let's schedule this at 10 a.m. If they insist on nocturnal negotiations, that's data about motive, not timing. You don't need to prove you care with lost sleep. Keep a notepad by the bed for topics. Then actually meet later. Healthy repair prefers clear brains over dramatic scenes. If vital talks only occur when you're most depleted, the timing problem is part of the tactic. Calendar booby traps. They forget your deadlines. Add errands to your busiest days or book overlapping plans so you're always apologizing. Chaos becomes your personality, not their pattern. Treat time like money. Budget it. Label it. Decline unbudgeted. Withdrawals. Share a calendar for shared commitments. And guard your focus blocks like appointments. Because they are. When collisions persist, stop absorbing the cost. I'll be unavailable. 2-5. If you schedule over it, I won't attend. People who respect you won't keep tripping the same wire. People who need you reactive will call your clarity selfish. It isn't. Clarity is kindness to both of you. Surprise visits that ignore your door. Spontaneous drop-ins bypass your right to prepare, consent, or say no. It's framed as cute. It functions as access without permission. A door is a boundary, not a suggestion. Set a friendly rule. Text first. If I don't confirm, it's a no. Follow it yourself, so it doesn't feel targeted. If they show up anyway and pressure you to host, that's not romance. It's entitlement. You can meet surprises at the threshold with warmth and a boundary. Great to see you. Tonight doesn't work. Let's plan for Saturday. Lovers ask. Trespassers announce. Sunk cost hook. They remind you of time/money/emotion already invested after all we've been through to keep you from making new choices. Sunk cost is a cognitive trap. Past effort doesn't obligate future misery. Ask a future-facing question. If this were day one, knowing what I know now, would I choose this? Then decide for the next 6 months, not the last 6. Commemorate what you survived without turning it into a chain. People who love you want your next chapter to be good, even if it doesn't feature them on every page. Social media switch flip. Block-unblock cycles. Public mute. Story games. Vague posts about fake people used to punish and steer you. Digital Cold Wars feel minor. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference. Require adult channels. If you're upset, tell me directly. If you play online, I'll step back offline, then enforce it. No decoding. Love that relies on audience. Reaction is theater. Relationships heal backstage. If they need platforms to process what should be a private conversation, they're managing optics, not intimacy. Parent trap. That they separate family. Your boundaries with their relatives are treated as optional. Unannounced visits, critiques of your body or work, decisions made over your head. Because family is a context, not a pass. Translate value into practice. We can honor your family and my limits. Here's what visits look like. Here's what happens if lines are crossed. If your no is labeled disrespect. Remember, respect that requires self-erasure isn't respect. Healthy partners buffer you from their family's overreach. They don't subcontract your peace to tradition. Welcome to Night Mode Knowledge. Tonight, I'll be sharing 200 subtle psychological red flags, quietly, slowly, so you can learn while you drift into rest. Get comfortable. Let your eyes close, and let each story guide you toward a calmer mind. Let sets begin. Emergency generosity. Gifts or rescue acts arrive right after conflict. A bill paid, a trip booked, a fix delivered, creating gratitude that drowns your concern. Generosity is good. Timing is telling. Separate the two. Thank you for this. We still need to resolve the thing from Tuesday. If gratitude is weaponized after all I just did, return to principle. Gifts aren't alibis. People who help to help will welcome repair alongside thanks. People who help to erase harm will call your follow-up ungrateful. It isn't. It's adult. Selective celibacy. Intimacy becomes a bargaining chip, withdrawn not for healing or trauma care with communication, but to control behavior or extract concessions. Your body becomes a lever they pull. Consent goes both ways, and sexual pacing deserves care. It should never be ransom. Invite transparent talk. If you need space, let's name duration and support. If this is about leverage, I won't participate. Healthy partners can hold physical ebb and flow without turning it into compliance training. Weaponized chill. They position themselves as the laid-back one, so that any boundary you set looks dramatic. I'm easy, you're intense. Chill is a vibe, not a virtue. Calm people still keep commitments and care about impact. Reframe. This isn't intensity, it's clarity. If chill consistently excuses lateness, vagueness, or broken agreements, it's not a personality, it's a permission slip. Keep your steady voice and steady standards. Let them call it intense. Time will call it functional. Boundary-light compromises. You're offered a middle ground that's actually your original no, just delayed or renamed. Compromise respects the core of each person's need. Counterfeits preserve one person's preference with softer branding. Test compromises with outcomes. If we pick this, here's what I gain lose, and what you gain lose. Does that feel shared? If only one side pays, decline politely. Saying no to a fake middle is how you protect the real one when it appears. Pet projects that own you. A joint project. Hobby. Renovation. Side business slowly becomes your unpaid job, while they hold creative control and credit. Love can include building together. Ownership should match labor. Define scope, roles, and exit ramps in writing. Who decides? Who pays? How to pause? If clarity feels awkward, imagine the awkwardness of resentment 6 months from now. Build the thing and the rules for caring for the builder. You. Tech lock-in as leverage. They set up your devices, passwords, subscriptions, smart home, then keep admin rights. Access becomes power. They see change or revoke. Convenience is nice. Autonomy is necessary. Insist on shared admin or your own accounts, password manager, and recovery emails you control. If that's distrust, remember, systems should survive arguments. People who plan for your control alongside convenience love you in the future tense. Apologies that demand amnesia. You're asked to let it go and never bring it up again immediately after an apology. No time for trust to regrow. No space to reference patterns. Forgiveness doesn't include forgetting. It includes watching for new behavior. Set the expectation. Thank you. I won't weaponize this, but I will reference it if the pattern returns. If referencing harm is treated as harm, the apology was a reset button, not a bridge. Keep your memory. It's part of your safety. Therapist. Shopping for a verdict. They bounce from counselor to counselor until one echoes their narrative, then wield that opinion as law. My therapist says you're the problem. Good therapy invites both accountability and choice. It's not a gavel for your partner. Suggest structure. Joint sessions with a neutral consent around what's shared. Goals. Both sign. If they only want professionals who agree with them, they're shopping for a referee, not healing. Monogamy rules with escape hatches. Agreements about exclusivity stay vague on purpose, or exceptions appear only when they benefit them. It was just chatting. Didn't count. Boundaries around intimacy require clear words and shared definitions. Draft them like adults. What counts? How we disclose. What happens when we miss? If clarity is unromantic, ask why romance needs ambiguity. People who intend to honor you don't leave doors ajar for later, mocking your voice. They imitate how you speak in fights. Accent, pitch, phrases, turning your words into a caricature. You learn to self-suppress, to avoid the bit. Gentle teasing can be love. Persistent mimicry in conflict is contempt. Name it. When you mock my voice, I feel erased. Speak to my point, or we pause. Contempt corrodes faster than conflict. If it doesn't stop, escalate to space. Respect is the ground floor. Without it, nothing above stands. Agenda flooding. When you raise one issue, they add 5 more. Your tone, last week's slight, your friend's comment, until your original point drowns. Multiplying topics feels productive. It prevents resolution. Keep a parking lot. Write extras down, and return to the first item only. If flooding continues, cap the meeting. 1 topic per talk. We'll schedule the rest. Boundaries make conversations smaller, so relationships can get bigger again. Ignorance around paper trails. They forget to sign. Update addresses. Keep receipts, especially where accountability lives. Leases, loans, childcare forms. Paperlessness protects whoever benefits from chaos. Move critical agreements to systems with timestamps and shared access. If they resist every structure that would create a record, believe the motive. People who want fairness welcome receipts. People who plan to rewrite history avoid ink. Emotional bid blindness. Your tiny invitations. Look at this. A shoulder touch. A small joke. Go unanswered. One miss is human. A pattern is distance. Couples thrive on micro-responses. They are the compound interest of connection. Don't beg. Measure. I'm missing little yeses from you. Can we practice catching them for a week? If bids keep falling through air, you're loving alone in a room for 2. That isn't a judgment. It's a metric. Make choices that honor what you measure, keeping you a secret. They're affectionate in private, but vague or evasive in public. No photos, no tags, dodgy intros. This is my friend. Sometimes slow reveal is prudence. Sometimes it's hedging, while they keep options warm. Ask for the why and a timeline. What are we protecting and when does that change? Healthy privacy has milestones. Meet the friends, a dinner with family, one visible signal that says, I'm choosing you. If visibility always moves later, believe the function secrecy preserves freedom from accountability. You deserve to be chosen in daylight, not only off stage. It isn't about posting every kiss. It's about not being erased. If the story of their life can't fit you in without apology, write your own chapter where you're not a footnote. Conflicts. Only by text. Hard topics are pushed into DMs, where tone is easy to misread, receipts become weapons, and red indicators run your cortisol. Text is useful for logistics. It's brittle for repair. People who choose text-only fights often want control, time to script, time to screenshot. None of the mess of empathy when eyes meet. Make a simple boundary. Summaries by text, solutions in voice or in person. Let's schedule. If they refuse any synchronous channel, that's data about motive, not convenience. Meet complexity with richer bandwidth. Voice notes. Call, calm room. Your nervous system deserves co-regulation. Your relationship deserves prosody, not perpetual court transcripts. Recording without consent. They secretly record arguments, so you can hear yourself, or for accuracy. Evidence can protect the vulnerable. Covert taping inside intimacy chills trust. If you live braced to be quoted, you stop being honest. Draw a firm line. If we need records, we'll agree to them, or use a mediator. Consider why recording feels necessary. Gaslighting. Safety. If safety is at stake, bring in a third party and documented channels. If control is the intent, pause the relationship. Repair grows where vulnerability feels protected, not surveilled. Turning your mentor into a rival. They insert doubt about the person who champions your growth. Subtle digs, jokes, or direct accusations of ulterior motives. The aim is to sever the bridge that connects you to opportunity and perspective. Test with daylight. Invite the mentor to a group context. Share boundaries and observe. A healthy partner cheers the ally who makes you bigger. A controlling partner prefers you small and dependent. Don't negotiate your future to soothe someone's insecurity. Your ambition isn't a third person. It's oxygen. Keep breathing. Nutritional sabotage. Before serious talks. Hard conversations consistently start when you're hungry, or right before meals. Snacks mysteriously vanish. Dinner gets forgotten. It sounds petty, until you notice you argue worse when your blood sugar dives. Bodies are part of brains. Fuel affects patience and working memory. Normalize basics as a precondition. Food first, then feelings. Keep easy protein in reach. Set no big talks before we eat, as house policy, and watch outcomes improve. If they resist the fix, the hunger wasn't incidental, it was leverage. Starving minds sign bad contracts. Weaponized pessimism. Every new idea is met with worst-case scenarios, not to help you plan, but to halt you. It'll never work. Masquerades as realism while protecting them from change. True realism asks, what would make this safer? And helps build contingencies. Invite that shift. List 2 risks and 2 mitigations. Otherwise, let's try a small pilot. If pessimism can't convert to problem solving, it's not caution, it's control. Don't let someone else's fear own your future. The path can be slow, but it still deserves steps. Colonizing shared space. Your home gradually reflects only their tastes, wall colors, furniture placement, even how shelves are organized, and your belongings migrate to closets or bins. Control can hide in aesthetics. Rebalance with zones and vetoes. Identify a few rooms or surfaces that are yours to arrange, and set a rule of 2. No questions asked. Vetoes per year, for both of you. Shared environments should speak in 2 voices. If your voice keeps getting boxed up, the home is telling you who it belongs to, and it isn't both of you. Borrowing, and accidentally breaking. They borrow tools, clothes, gear, then return them damaged or not at all with a breezy oops. Repeated accidents are messages. Your resources are expendable. Replace persuasion with policy. Borrowing comes with replacement or repair. If that doesn't happen, borrowing stops. Keep a list. Enforce the boundary once without lecture. People who respect you treat your things like extensions of you. People who don't will teach you the price of lending. Learn quickly. Secrets as collateral. They hold your confessions like chips, hinting they'll have to tell people if you don't comply. That's not intimacy, that's blackmail with a soft voice. Call it cleanly and create distance. Loop in a trusted third person, therapist, friend, so your truth isn't hostage to their discretion. Healthy partners protect your story, even when angry. If the safety of your past depends on present obedience, you're in a cage. Find the key by widening your circle, not by folding smaller. Hostage logistics. They control transportation, your ride, the car keys, the Uber account, so leaving an event or a fight depends on their mood. Mobility is autonomy. Default to personal exits, your own keys, transit card, rideshare app, a friend's number. Agree on a no hard talks, while one person is captive in the car rule. If someone engineers dependence, it's not because they're romantic, it's because you're easier to steer when you can't move. Wheels equal choice. Keep yours. Performance reviews of your friends. After every hangout, they debrief your friends like employees grading humor, outfits, vibes, nudging you to prune your circle to their taste. Feedback can be useful. Like it, evaluation is a power play. Flip the lens. We can discuss specific harms. We won't rank my people. Watch for respect during shared time. No sighs, eye rolls, or competitive monopolizing. Partners who love you learn to coexist with your village. Auditors want a company of one. Parenting you in public. They correct you mid-sentence. Adjust your clothes. Answer for you, or scold your choices in front of others. The message is, I outrank you. Redirect gently but firmly. We'll talk about that later. Bring it up afterward. Public correction makes me feel small. Use a glance or note, or wait. If it persists, it isn't care, it's status. Relationships thrive on mutual dignity. Don't trade yours for peace in the moment. Withholding useful feedback until it hurts. They notice an issue, budget, habit, social misstep, but don't tell you, then drop it during conflict. As a backlog of grievances, feedback delayed into ammo isn't care, it's strategy. Invite timely bite-sized notes. Tell me small soon, and with a fix. Offer the same. If someone prefers the satisfaction of a gotcha over the quiet work of early repair, they're not protecting you, they're protecting their future advantage. Aesthetic gifts that redecorate your life. Presents arrive that reshape your space or style. Art you never picked. Clothes that telegraph their taste. Gadgets that require their ecosystem. Gifts become Trojan horses for control. Except with a rule, decor choices are joint. Personal style is mine. Place gifts where they fit your values, not as centerpieces by obligation. If refusal triggers sulking, name it. A gift with strings is a request. Make requests directly. Love decorates with you, not at you. Sharing your intimacies as stories. They recount private sexual details or tender moments to friends. Because we're close, seeking laughs or admiration. Your body becomes content. Draw a line. Our intimacy is not community theater. If they need to process, suggest a therapist, not a table. One-time mistakes can be educated. Recurring performances show priorities. You deserve a boundary around the story of you. Emotional blackouts. After causing harm, they claim not to remember. I blacked out. I was dissociating. Then refuse repair because it's blurry. Trauma and dissociation are real, so is accountability. Separate empathy from amnesty. I believe you struggled. Here's what still happened. What safeguards can we install? Think plans, not blame. No substances during conflict. Pause words, cooling off scripts. Therapy. If memory lapses become a blanket that covers every mess, you're being asked to live without history. Don't ambush, double teaming. You arrive for a one-on-one talk and find a friend, parent, or neutral present who sides with them. Surprise panels create pressure and tilt the floor. You can leave. I agreed to a private conversation. We can schedule a mediated one later. True mediation is chosen jointly, with agreed rules, not sprung as a tactic. If someone needs a chorus to be right, they weren't confident in the song. Financial Russian roulette, gambling, speculative trades, secret subscriptions, money adventures that jeopardize rent and goals, followed by charm or shame to smooth it over. Risk can be fun. Shared risk requires consent. Build guardrails, joint budget visibility, personal fund money caps, red line rules for shared funds. If they keep betting the pantry, it's not spontaneity, it's neglect. Stability is a love language, speak it in numbers. Switching love languages to get leverage. They meet your love language only when they want something. Acts of service right before a big ask. Words of affirmation before a favor. Outside the ask, your language gathers dust. Don't chase breadcrumbs. Name patterns. I feel appreciated when this is consistent. Not only pre-ask, can we schedule it weekly? Consistency reveals intent. Love isn't a coupon. It's rhythm. If rhythm never comes, stop paying premiums for sporadic music. Trickle truthing. Caught in a lie, they reveal a sliver, then another a week later, stretching pain into a saga. Trickle truth keeps you hooked in detective mode while they gauge what you know. Set a container. This is the last chance for the whole story. If new pieces appear later, the consequence grows. Pair it with a practical plan. Timelines, questions, third-party verification if needed. Honesty hurts once. Trickle truth hurts on subscription. Cancel the plan that keeps charging your piece.